Hello again, and welcome back to Martin and Jill from Allegiant Web in our series talking about AI and how business can practically benefit from it. Today, we're going to give you a demonstration of chatbots on your website. So, Jill, over to you.
Great, Martin. I'm just going to talk you through some things that you can do to put a chatbot on your website. Now, sometimes we think we've been in websites where we've had good experiences, bad experiences, mixed experiences. But there's no doubt about it, and the evidence shows that having a chatbot on your website does bring benefits in terms of interaction with your website, keeping people on the site a little bit longer, and also giving people a better customer experience, and can lead to lead generation. Will I share my screen?
No, it's okay. I can do that for you. I'll drive for you, and you can just tell us what's going on. I mean, great.
In there because I thought you were going to share my screen for me. It's going to do it any minute.
Just waiting for your cue. So, without further ado.
Brilliant. So you guys have seen us use things like ChatGPT, Claude, various other chat bots. This is something a little different. These are little cute chatbots that have names and are personalized and are actually functionally distinct from each other. This is Cassie, who focuses in customer support. They're from a company called Sintra, and if you want to know more about that, I'm sure we'll talk more about them over the next wee while, or get in touch and we'll talk about it. So basically what I asked Cassie to do was to design a chatbot script based on my website, or based on the website that I've put in here, and see what we can do with it. So what it did was, it went to the website, I put the URL, and it went to the website, and it started this kind of script. So it's got this script that's going, "Hi there, welcome to Butterhose, what can I do for you?" And then it's got all these options, and all of these have been taken. It's scraped the website and brought these through automatically. And it's brought through things that it's found on the website: web design, search engine optimization, maintenance. It's brought some facts through as well, just some costs and things like that, content creation. So these are all the services that are offered on this website, and these can go into the chatbot. And so anything that somebody comes along to your website and they think, "Just want the answer, how much is that?" Which is what everybody wants to know, isn't it? They're always asking, how much is the website? How much is this? So these are things that you can do. So these are all very good. And I was thinking, gosh, that's really good, Cassie. Thanks very much for that. Really appreciate this. Lots and lots of stuff there. And then I thought, what do I do with it? And it's like, but Cassie has the answer to that too. So Cassie also showed me where I can actually put this. So she says, I need to choose a chatbot platform for my website. And here are some popular ones, which is really cool, because then you can go and actually look these up online and pick the one that is right for your website. Now, as you know, we at Allegiant use WordPress for our websites in the main. And so it's very good that Cassie has already worked out that we use WordPress, and has said some here that will work with WordPress. And of course, she's not telling me much more about how to actually go through that, because each of these chatbots will have their own instructions on how you actually get your script into it. But as a starter point, you want to make sure that you've gone through the script, make sure you're happy with it, that it truly reflects what you've got in your website and how you want customers to be found on it. Implement the chatbot depending on what platform you've chosen, and then get it tested, and then you can launch and monitor it. Now, I know that, Martin, you have real live experience of this, so do you want to jump in and let me know what?
Yeah, so I didn't particularly use Cassie or Sintra, but I have trained chatbots to appear on customers' websites. And we see here, like, Jill asked Cassie to what we call scrape the website. So it's looked at the website, taken all the information from that, and put it in somewhere that can then be redisplayed. And that's kind of the first step that people would do. In order to integrate it into your website, if we're talking about WordPress, there's just a piece of code that gets put on. So we can do that for you, for example. And that code will then cause the chatbot to appear. And you can set also some parameters around if you want it there all the time, or you only want it between certain hours and sorts of things like that, depending on how you're going to integrate your chat and your human help. And like Jill said, it's really handy to have the chat there, because us humans do need to go and eat and sleep at some time. And the chatbots don't, bless them. But just in terms of experience of using them, I found that they're very good at scraping your website, but they're not perfect. And you might want to emphasize certain parts of your business over other parts. And so what you can do is you can, for example, compile a PDF that says, this is really important to me. And you can put, if somebody asks this question, this is precisely the answer that I want you to give. So you can actually steer the chatbot to do what you want, and then say, well, that PDF has more priority than what you see on my website. So you can do things like that. You then start to think about how often you keep this up to date. So if you've got a website that the contents don't change very much, then that's not too much of a problem. But if you've got one where the content, you're blogging regularly, you've got lots of new content, then you're going to want that scraping to be on a regular basis. And if you do that, you're going to have to think about, how do I keep my PDF, which is a static document, up to date as well. So there's things going on behind the scenes.
That's really good. It's really important to know, isn't it? And I think that's something that you may want to schedule in for regular reviews, just to make sure everything is hunky-dory. And of course, we all know that our businesses change and evolve over time, and hopefully you're doing some blogs on your website and things like that, so there'll be good content on there that you'll want to keep making sure is fed. And Cassie has quite rightly here said that you should promote your chatbot, and I think that's a really good idea. So tell your friends, tell your family, put it on social media, get people to come along and try it out, because the more it's used, the better it's going to be all round. There's other things that you can feed into this. I'm going to stop sharing because I think we'll just talk maybe about this.
You want me to do it?
So the other thing you can do is you can integrate something like a form in there. So you can then put at the bottom of your chatbot, and that you can, this is the information, hey, do you want to sign up? Do you want to do this? Do you want to get this lead magnet? Do you want to do that? So you can actually use it to interact and generate leads on your website. So not only does it give people a really nice experience when they come looking for information on your website, make sure they stay longer on your website, which is always good for SEO. But it also means that you've got more of a chance, because they're interacting with you in a way that's much more friendly than just reading a website. They're having conversation. And although it's not a human being, it is a conversation with the representative of your company, isn't it? So, and hopefully if you've set the tone and everything correctly in your chatbot, then it is going to be representative of your brand and who you are as a company. And so people are getting more of a feel for that, and getting more to build that trust element with you, and getting to like you better with time. And so then they're going to be more likely to say, here, have my email. I want that lovely PDF or really cool discount that you've given me, and move on from there.
I think it's worth saying that chatbots have been on websites for a couple of years or so, depending on which one you go to. And a lot of people have perhaps been scarred by early versions of that, where they obviously were just mechanical bots, and it could get quite frustrating when you've got a specific question and then just not understanding. They've moved on a lot. Their intelligence level has moved on a lot, and like I say, you as the website owner can, to a much greater degree now, control how your bot behaves when you're not around.
Naughty bot.
You don't want a naughty bot. No, absolutely no. So what that means, of course, is that the user experience is much improved. So if you have, I know I've spoken to people before and they've gone, oh, no, chatbots, no, I don't like them. But if the alternative is you can't get hold of someone because the people running the website company are not there 24/7, or it's the middle of the day and they're dealing with other clients, then if you can get a reasonable enough answer, surely that's better than no answer at all. And in the past, what we kind of had was a poor answer, which is possibly worse than no answer at all.
Yeah.
But it's definitely moving forward, and definitely something that if you've looked at before and thought, I'd suggest you go have a look at it again, and see how good they can be.
And I think one of the things that we've been thinking about a lot more recently has been about the personalization of AI and what that means to individuals and businesses. And what's started to happen is people have started to try and personalize AI by using people's names, which is kind of, it's the equivalent of a call center that just keeps asking, how are you today? I'm not here to have a conversation with you. I'm here to get my thing fixed. But the personalization is we're moving into, I think now, is where you're able to use AI in such a way that it reflects fully your business and your processes internally and at the leading edge where you interact with your customers, so that every interaction that your potential customers and customers have with you, it's as if they were actually in your business and getting to know you, and it's a reflection of your culture, of your values. All these things are starting to come through it with AI now, whereas before, like you say, Martin, it was a bit more mechanical, and the only way to personalize something was to say, hi, Martin. Or first of all, they would ask you your name. What's your name? Martin. Oh, hi, Martin. Great to see you, Martin. And they would keep using your name.
Yeah. And I think one other thing to say is that there's also a great use case for using these things. Jill mentioned there about if your company's got policies, procedures, etc., and they're all in, let's say, dry documents. You can have these things on an internal website, so one that's just for your company to use. And that can either be your main website with just certain pages and just that are available to your company employees. Put the chatbot just on those pages and train it just on what your company's policies and procedures are. So that's all the bot knows about. And then it's a great way when you've got new people coming on, you want to onboard them. It's a much more intuitive way to actually find out about what's the correct way to do things within your company. So that's something else that's well worth having a look at.
Or if you have a sales team internally, you could have one that has all your sales scripts to hand, all your product knowledge to hand, everything just at the tip of people's fingers, and makes them look really, really good to potential customers who are maybe on the phone and asking really awkward, difficult questions. But your sales team have got it because they've got their bot in the background backing them up. And that in any business, when you start then thinking about it and start thinking about what you could do with it, then I think your mind just starts to expand. And I think that's what we're going to see more and more of, isn't it, over the next year or so, is we're going to envisage more and more uses. I think the equivalent I heard was when we first got electricity, nobody thought what to do with it except maybe put a light. Well, what do we use it for now? Just about everything. So
running webinars telling people about really handy stuff. Absolutely. So we're mid-24 recording this, and at the point of recording it, I think the big thing is just being able to educate people as to what could be possible. And then once you've got that, well, if that's possible, how do we do that? And we're at that kind of educational stage at the moment, which is why we're making these videos, and hopefully they're going to be useful for you. And of course, if you're watching this live and you want to interact with chat, then we're here ready and waiting for you. Anything else you want to add about this subject, Jill, before we wrap up?
I think I would just really encourage people, even if you've had a chatbot before, which I had, and I took it off my website, and I'm going to have another go at it because I think the time has come. So I would encourage our listeners to have another go if you've already had one. If you've not had one, have a go.
Sound advice. 100% agree. So with that, as ever, the show notes, all the rest of it will be available before too long. If not, get in touch. We've got an email address sitting on there, the screen for you. We'd love to find out more about your business and to see, if there's ways in which it can be helped. But for now, Jill, thank you very much.